Hi, I'm Jan Nichols with my guest, the way too talented for one person, Guy Sanville, who is an actor, director, writer, and if that weren't enough, he's also the artistic director at the Purple Rose Theater in Chelsea, Michigan. Guy, let's talk about your approach to problem solving from the point of view of Guy the actor.
We define acting by living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. And this is what I try to teach young actors especially, is that you're enough. It really is about you. Your sense of truth, your sense of justice, especially your sense of humor. You really are playing yourself in a lot of different situations.
Tell me a little more about this particular process. So it's starting from something within you, something that's authentic about you, but what exactly do you do? Like, where do you begin with that?
Well, what I do is read the play a lot, read it a lot, and
do you just read it, absorbing it, not really analyzing it per se? How do you approach that?
I analyze it. It's the same when I act as when I direct. I'm really interested in what happens, and what do I get to do? What do I have to do? Because that's what acting is doing. I don't believe that an art, at the end of the day, any artist can control the meaning of their work. I leave that up to other people, and I just try to deal as truthfully and authentically within the world of the play with each and every moment. So I read the script and I plot out the events, what happens.
And do you physically list it? Do you work it out on paper, note cards?
I absolutely write it down. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I write it down. I also write a biography of the character.
Okay, I was going to say you're doing the backstory.
Absolutely, and what do I have to do in the play? I played, play changed my life. A play that Jeff wrote called The Vast Difference. I played a guy's dead father, a ghost basically, who was a barber. So and that's one of the great things about acting, is that you get to learn to do all this stuff. I spent a day in a barbershop learning how to cut hair.
Okay.
And because I had to give this, and the scissors, and I learned how to cut people's hair in a day, and how people behaved in those situations, and a million other things. How you hold the comb and the scissors and the whole deal. I've learned how to weld from being in a play, and sword fight, and all that other kind of stuff. It's one of the benefits of acting. You get to learn to do a lot of things.
So you go out and actually have the experience of it. Then what happens when you get into rehearsal? I mean, does sometimes all of that fall away or get reinvented because you're now interacting with the other characters? Or does it hold true, more or less?
Well, it's always there. I mean, if you need it. And you do all the prep, and you prepare as much as you can. And then when you walk into the rehearsal room, you got to be prepared to let it all go. Because really, at the end of the day, it's your scene partner. It's you and me. And what are we going to, what do you want from me that I don't want to give you?
Yeah.
What do I want from you that you don't want to give me?
Yeah.
And it's about, and the game's on. And all that stuff is there, you've prepared it, and I don't deal, I'm not, I work with a lot of really, really, really smart people, and I spend a lot of time on the right side of my brain. I don't deal much in logic. I'm interested in what happens, and not necessarily why it happens. That's something you can think about, over coffee the next morning or over a drink after the show or whatever, but really it's just the best actors that I've ever worked with are the ones who really understand what it means to make the scene about the other person.
Is that an acquired skill, to be in that moment, just completely paying attention, or it's not even as artificial as paying attention, but simply being there? How do actors acquire that ability?
Practice, experience, focus, and we work at it. Here we work at it. Our process for making plays here is very special. And it's easy for me to say, but if you were to talk to any of the actors here, we're kind of tickled, because when actors come to work here who've never been here before, they have no idea what they're walking into. the process. I believe as a director that if you want somebody to do something on stage, you must practice it. So if I expect people to breathe and listen to each other and look at each other, then I make them practice that. We spend an hour, hour and a half of a rehearsal day before we ever open up the script. Just, you know, we do yoga, we do voice work, we do all that stuff because we do 7 shows a week here. They run anywhere from 8 to 14 weeks, and they have to be great.
And you have to be able to sustain that. Right?
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely. I mean, you know, your body doesn't know you're acting.
Right.
You know, your mind might know it, but your body doesn't know it. And this is a sport. And you know, any actor will tell you, any professional actor will tell you that it's the first thing they think about when they get up in the morning. It's the last, and you spend your whole day preparing. And you know, there's the 2 hours of the show time, but there's, you know, most of them, you know, for an 8 o'clock curtain will get here at 6. We start warm-ups and all that stuff at 7, and then 8 o'clock go, and then they're done at 10, 10:30, and so it's a 3 or 4 or 5 hour deal. I mean, and you never stop thinking about it, and you're always, you know, you have to take care of yourself because it's physically very demanding.
Right. Tell me a little bit if this process of being an actor and the skills you acquire, like being in the moment and being attentive to another person, does that apply to your personal life? Do you bring some of those abilities to your personal relationships?
Sure, try to. You know, you try to be present with people. You try to listen, and really listen. I mean, listen. Any actor will tell you that listening is just the absolute cornerstone. I mean, it's key. And having a child, you know, having a 9-year-old daughter, raising a child has really brought home the importance of that. But it's something I have to work at. You know, I mean, acting is not therapy, but it can be very therapeutic. You know, it can be a byproduct of the work. I mean, you have to. You have to. I mean, you're your tool. You learn things about yourself going through the experience, and it's pretty interesting because you have to. I mean, the good ones leave it all on the stage, and they're pathetic, and they're joyful, and they're beautiful, and they're mean, and they're ugly, and they're, you know, and it's all. It can't not bleed over into your life. You know, I think that anybody who's passionate about something, who's lucky enough to do something that they believe in, I think that's the case. You know.
On the other side of that, because of this passion and the single-minded focus you have to bring to the work, do you ever find that is an impediment in the world off stage and outside, because this work demands so much of your attention?
Yes, it's again, though, I don't think it's just an actor thing. I know it's not. I mean, you know, successful people all have a lot of things in common, and one of those is a sense of mission and a sense of purpose, and they're very industrious. They work harder than other people.
If you'd like to know more about Guy Sanville and the Purple Rose Theater, go to www.purplerosetheater.org. And for more information about this episode and other programs in the series, we invite you to visit us on the World Wide Web at conversationswithcreativeminds.com.